Don't be afraid, little ones, of the big, green, lumbering creature that is George, the dinosaur. He may look like he's about to eat you up, but he's really just a big softie who loves to give hugs, and what's not to love about George? He's been through a lot in his life, including being turned into a Halloween decoration. It all started on a fateful day in October. George was outside enjoying the sunny day, when suddenly, a group of kids approached him. They were carrying some strange props and materials with them, and they didn't look very friendly. Without warning, they started wrapping George up in streamers and paper mache. George struggled to free himself, but it was no use. The kids were laughing and having a great time, while George was feeling more and more scared and claustrophobic. He tried to roar and scare them off, but it only made them laugh harder. Finally, they were done and George was left standing there, feeling foolish and embarrassed. The next thing he knew, he was being taken to someplace called a haunted house. George had no idea what that was, but it sounded pretty scary. He was placed in a room with other monsters and ghosts, and he could hear the screams of people coming from outside. George was terrified. He had no idea what was going on or why these people were so scared of him. He tried to comfort himself by thinking that surely they would let him out soon and that this was all just a big misunderstanding. But George was wrong. The days turned into weeks, and George was still stuck in that room. He overheard the people who ran the haunted house talking, and he learned that he was now a permanent fixture in their show. George was miserable. He missed the sunshine and the fresh air. He missed playing with the other dinosaurs. He even missed being made fun of by the kids. At least that meant he was noticed. But one day, everything changed. George overheard the people who ran the haunted house talking about something called Halloween. They were saying that it was a time when people dressed up in costumes and went around asking for candy. George didn't know what candy was, but he did know that he wanted to go outside and see people again. He hatched a plan to escape and went to work on trying to break out of his room. Finally, on Halloween night, George managed to escape. He was so excited to be outside that he forgot to be scared of the people in costumes. He walked up to the first person he saw and held out his hand, expecting to be given some of this so-called candy, but instead of candy, the person dropped a piece of paper into George's hand and ran away screaming. George looked down at the paper and saw that it was a wanted poster with his picture on it. Apparently, he had become a big star in the haunted house and was now the most popular attraction. People were coming from all over to see George, the dinosaur Halloween decoration. Despite his fame, George was still miserable. He missed the outdoors and he missed his friends, but he was resigned to his fate and decided to make the best of it. These days, George still lives in the haunted house, but he's not so scared anymore. He's even made some friends with the other monsters and ghosts, and every Halloween, he gets to go outside and see all the kids in their costumes. So if you see a big, green, lumbering creature this Halloween, don't be afraid. It's just George, and he just wants to give you a hug.